Is the microphone working now? There it goes. Nailed it. Okay, right back. What are y'all doing? All right. All right, I'm back. All right. Mic's still not working. There it goes. Oh, today's gonna be interesting. Like, this looks like it's already gonna be a train wreck. Put that back to normal. Oh, I'm moving too much. Go back. There you go. Like that. Boom. Nailed it. Alright. Oh, oh, oh. Lock you. Everything's good. Checking out the new hat. I have a problem with the new hat though. Like it keeps snagging my hair when I take it off. Like there's a weird pinch here from when it was shipped. And I'm not liking it. So I'm trying to wear it more to see if I can get it to straighten out. Alright. Hang out for a second and we'll get the show started in about 12 seconds. Hello and welcome to Whimsy Live. It's Whimsy Nooners. Happy holiday. Martin Luther King Day. So, had I remembered that people don't sometimes work on today, I probably should have posted more socials and texts. That's what it is. Uh, Nooners, kind of go over my week a little bit, some TV. This week, changing it around just a little bit. You'll see in a second. In theory, I rearranged everything, the slides, right, appropriately. Okay, so what did I mess up last week? Okay, so last Monday, I messed up the video and the slides. So right now, we are 7 days since last mess up. We're going to see if we can go like day 7 with no mess ups. We're hoping. It looked good, but it always looks good, and then I always like lose track of something. So, um, let's go and get started. Maybe. All right. I mentioned we're going a little out of order today than normal. We're going to start with the pocket watch. I'm not calling this a mess up yet, but if there's a random pocket watch gnome slide somewhere, then I've messed up. We will see. Pocket watch. This is what I've been watching all week. Shifting gears. I forget what channel it's on. This is the Cat Dunning, Buzz Lightyear, Tim Allen show. Has what's his name? William Scott. Oh man, I don't even know. It's a decent show. It's still getting bad. I'm still holding on to it. It's not the best show. It's definitely better than Happy's Place. Happy's Place, to be fair, has had like 2 good episodes in its run, but it's still not good. This is still pretty entertaining. I'm enjoying the Tim Allen stuff. Uh, he's playing old man, boomer, and all the kids are like millennials and Z's. So I don't know. It's fun. It's entertaining enough. So I'm still sticking with this for just a little bit longer. I don't know where it goes. I don't know what a second season or third season looks like. It looks like a decent first season. We're only 2 episodes in, but we're keeping an eye on it. Shifting gears, I think it comes out on Wednesdays or Thursdays. But keep an eye out for it. It's not horrible. I think I watched it on Hulu. So, what else have we watched? The 3 episodes in. This is the new Max series of an emergency room 1 day, 15-hour shift, and it's going to follow all these doctors throughout that whole shift. 3 episodes in, I'm liking it a lot. It is interesting to see how they're ending each hour. That still leaves enough of a cliffhanger and stuff going on. The cast is actually pretty okay. Uh, there's one character, the 20-year-old like genius whose mom works there. Uh, I could almost deal without her, but I think you need the oh, she's like a goody good. Probably in the next couple of weeks we'll start breaking down some of the characters of like how brilliant they are. The one that I am absolutely in love with is hold on, let's find cast. Where is she? Uh, Fiona. Her name is Fiona. She is the daughter of the voice of Chucky, and she was in 3 of the movies. She was in Cult, the one just before Cult, and she was in the series. She is absolutely amazing. She's like my favorite person right now. Um, so it's weird to see her in something like a normal series of something, and not like a hokey Child's Play Chucky franchise. I'm actually like she's my favorite, but it's a decent show. I think you guys enjoy it. Mom's gonna watch it. Tentatively tomorrow, get caught up a little bit. There's 3 episodes, so enough for her to kind of. She has a Tuesday off, so she's gonna watch, and then we'll give an update report on uh, what mom thinks of it. She watched ER. I did not, but there's some ER vibes to it. I'm assuming. I think this one's gonna be like the hidden gem. Like it's not even really a hidden gem at this point. I think this is gonna be the big one. Um, for hospital procedures this year. Possibly, because there's another one coming up. But watch The Pit. It's on Max. 3 episodes so far, 15 total, and it's 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 good times. That's all I got for you right now. Oh, today's gonna be quick. Hi, mom. Um, I don't think I put this on there. I might have mentioned this one a couple of weeks ago. Eisenberg, Macaulay Culkin's brother, Kieran Culkin. Kieran Culkin won a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor. This movie was actually pretty decent. It's on Hulu right now. It's a different. Okay, here's what's interesting about this movie. It's in the trailer. You have 2 cousins, right? One that's doing fairly well, and then you got Kieran Culkin, who's kind of like a hot mess. And they go on a trip to Europe to do like a Holocaust tour, so they can kind of get back in touch with their roots. Some powerful stuff on there. Nothing too bad. Definitely, Kieran Culkin is like doing some amazing work on on this movie. Absolutely amazing. I love him so much. Um, I mean, like it's so weird. We've known Kieran Culkin for years. I just don't know if we've ever like paid attention to what like he's been doing. He did Succession, and he did very well in that, so everybody kind of knew him for that. I knew him from Igby Goes Down, which is a movie, but he was also the cousin of Kevin McAllister in Home Alone. So like he's been working uh, so like 100 years ago when Home Alone came out, he was technically in that. I'm gonna watch it again. I think I need to do. I watched it semi multitasking, and what's interesting is with me getting all nostalgic and trying to recall like a past or life. Basically, like I don't know, maybe I'm just like looking too much into it, right? Um, or the universe is like, hey man, boom, take a look at this movie. Like I don't know, it was fun. No tears, so it's not like a tearjerker cry, but some really good performances from Kieran Culkin. Eisenberg has a decent monologue in there somewhere. Um, it's it's like an indie film. It's I don't think it'll get nominated for best film, original screenplay, and the other one, supporting actor. I think is where it's going to find most of its awards coming award season. I enjoyed it. Recommend watching it. It's on Hulu. It's like it can't be longer than like a buck 30. Like it's not a long. It's definitely not a long movie. Step by. Uh, Real pain. Yeah, like legit an hour 30. Super quick, entertaining. It's fun. Like I said, I'll rewatch it again to see what emotional connection I get to the movie again. Because I felt parts of it throughout the movie, but I didn't pay attention to it enough to like really just let it sink in. But yeah, a troubled man looking to reconnect with his roots. Two troubled men. To be fair, they're both going through some stuff. So it's the holiday. If you have the day off, you're looking to find something to watch. Hit Hulu for an hour and a half. Um, I think it's worth the watch. I've enjoyed it. And then we also have watched. Okay, so I fell down this hole because I thought this show was over, but it's not. New season just started, like season 7. I don't typically watch network TV, so this flew way under my radar for a while. I absolutely love Nathan Fillion. He was in Firefly. I wish I watched Castle, but I never did. Nathan Fillion is a genius. He's so funny. This show has a little bit of heart on it, typical like police procedural type stuff. I'm 3 seasons in. This show, holy cow! We talked about it in a little while ago. Like shows that leave you on cliff. Like what happened to the cliffhanger? Dude, I've seen like so. I'm on season 3, so I've seen two huge cliffhangers, and the idea that they make you wait through the hiatus into next season for these cliffhangers. Oh, I absolutely. It's adorable. It's a decent enough show. Season 2 got a little bit wokey, but not too bad. It's not like real hard in your face. But I feel like Nathan Fillion, absolutely like okay. The whole cast is amazing. To be fair, I don't know any of the other people's names, but it is. Mom and Grandma watched it. What's interesting is every once in a while I keep finding out that Mom and Grandma Like they watch their shows. They have a handful of shows. I know a couple of them, and a couple of them I'm like, I can't do it. I won't do it. But it is fun every once in a while to be like, hey, have you ever watched this show? And they're like, oh yeah, I absolutely love it. And it's like, how come I didn't know about that one? How come I didn't know about the crappy ones I don't want to watch? But all the good ones, they keep all the good ones in their pocket. They're like, shh, shh, don't tell Ben. Don't, don't tell Ben. He's gonna. What's interesting about the rookie, because Nathan Fillion's a rookie cop. So 3 seasons in, absolutely love this thing. The way that they play with the timeline. So this has been on for 3 years, and it only has covered like 6 months in their universe, but they've referenced three different dates, which is super funny. Because at some point he's not going to be a rookie anymore. So like, how do we keep the name the rookie? Uh, but yeah, season one it was clearly 2019, and then each season is still part of the same like timeline. And then they somewhere they referenced 2021, which I thought was hilarious. Um, but I can enjoy that. I can enjoy following. Was it the first one was 20 episodes, 14 episodes, so like 6 episodes across like 2 seasons, and it follows the same 6 months across the 2 years. So I can appreciate it. I do like how they try to keep uh, the timeline going. They just I don't know. It was just funny. I just noticed it. So if you need something like some silly fun, there's there's not a lot out there right now. There really isn't that much. But if you want to find something that has a little bit of heart to it, as um, Nathan Fillion did Doctor somebody's sing along with Neil Patrick Harris and Felicia Day, and it's interesting. And then he also did Firefly, a couple of other shows. So what's interesting is when you watch it, all the different cameos that you see from people that he's worked for in the past. So I absolutely enjoyed the show. I'll finish it by the end of the week. It's a good one. Nice and simple. It's not even that simple. It's nice and like so there's some heart in there. And then most like half of the episodes are kind of like vanilla. But when they put together like an arc, like a story arc, fucking quality, man. Quality writing. So check it out. I approve. This one's bench check. Watch The Rookie. This one is this is the one you want to keep an eye on. This one right here. Right here. Doc. 2 episodes in, I think. I think it's two. Two. Boom, amnesia, doctor, loses 8 years. And then she's like, I want to be a doctor. So what is interesting I like House, right? Uh where you have like the crazy illness of the week. We're kind of trying to do that here. Now, what made House amazing is that he was an asshole, right? And they're ish doing the same thing with her a little bit. I don't know, but like episode one, there's some drama, there's some conspiracy happening already. She's lost her memory. I don't know. I think the show could be really good. This is absolutely better than the stupid Doctor Oasis. And where is that show? Does that show even still exist? Hopefully, it got canceled. Joshua Jackson was doing one, right? What was the other piece of crap one? Oh, Brilliant Minds. Like for new Doctor, shows that are on network TV, this is the win. Watch this thing is way better than the other two. Different than the Pit, but if you guys need your fixes for Doctor TV, boom, hit the Pit, hit Doc. Absolutely enjoyed this show. Brilliant Minds got canceled. Good. Like, and it sucks because I really enjoyed um, Zachary Quinto. He's so cool. I love him so much. Um, so sorry that I got canceled because that show sucked. And it's like it had potential. He's eccentric. He's uh like super like autistic OCD. I forget which one he was, but they just didn't do anything with it. Is Doctor Oasis still a thing? Because that show was garbage too. I can't believe they. Odyssey. My bad. That's how much I don't care about that show. Uh, is there a season two? I'd be pissed if there's a season two. It is not confirmed. All right, so yeah, so Doctor Odyssey is a garbage show. I don't think it'll get renewed. Um, Decent cast, but the whole storyline of it was like they. Yeah, we already talked about that last year. This one's it. Take a look at this one. I approve. This one potential to be on my list of top tens for the year, and it's coming out right out the gate, 1st of January, like the first of the year. This one you're gonna remember.
Go check out Chasing the Whimsy, the podcast, available today on your favorite podcast platforms. Chasing the Whimsy, where a 40-year-old father and his two kids take a whimsical journey of fun stories and educating each other about their respective generation. Generation X squares off with Generation Z to try to connect and find an understanding between generations 30 plus years apart. They'll journey through the past and track their journey as they find out who they'll grow up to be. Again, that's Chasing the Whimsy, available today on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube as well, and you can also find the show and learn more about the hosts at chasingthewhimsy.com. Chasing the Whimsy, ChasingTheWhimsy, Chasing the Whimsy, the podcast. Many episodes up for you to listen to already. Go stream, download, and subscribe today. You can also connect and follow on Twitter at Chase the Whimsy and on Instagram and TikTok at Chasing the Whimsy.
All right, let's get him to know me. Why did I put it up? Today's mind. The missing slide. 0 days since last error, last mistake. Oh man, that's so funny. You found it. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, so yeah, I really wanted to go more than a week before making a mistake. Back to 0. All right. So I rearranged the show a little bit today, right? Normally it's what I've been up to, and then TV, and then the rabbit hole. This week, the getting to know me is going to be the rabbit hole, right? Um, oh, what's in my pocket? Okay, so what I've been like, one has been kind of like I've been like wildly like tired the whole week. Um, I think somehow I'm blaming my diet. Right? Like I'm eating better, so my body's all weak because it's like, where's all the junk food we're used to? Is that normal? Like, I should look that up. Um, I feel better like throughout the week, but like I just all I'm tired. I'm just tired all the time now. So the rabbit hole we're jumping down. All right. So the rest of the show is going to be the nostalgia tour that I talked about. I have no idea what it's going to look like. So I wanted to try and put it out. Try to organize it a little bit. Some of it was this idea I half floated out on the most recent episode that came out today. Was did I say that? I don't know. If I was gonna write, no, it was on Mind Pockets. If I was gonna write an autobiography, or if someone was gonna write, my life story, don't like I don't know what they would have. So this whole nostalgia tour is for me, right? To try and like remember some of the old stuff way back in the day. So so the next handful of slides are going to be some of the different things I want to make sure that like I touch base on, and then I are going to be the things that I actively research to find, and then stories around that same time. So you'll figure it out as I keep going. So Liam said he would hang out with me with through some of these. We're gonna have. Um, I talked to Gooster last week. I dropped off her coasters for the Patreon, patreon.com/chasing the whimsy. So I dropped off her coasters and we were chatting for a minute. And I was like, I'm doing this search for Ben, right? This nostalgia tour. I was talking about it. And then she brought up two random stories that I completely, like, wildly forgot from like '09, 2010. And I'm like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Or there's a handful, like there's more than a handful. There's a million stories of things I've just naturally forgotten. Between age, um, there was a time period of like from like 13 to 15 where I was like super extra tired because I didn't have my medication. So completely lost a handful of years. So I was telling her about it. It was like, would you be willing to come on and talk to me? Um, and it's not even so much like the podcast right now. This is more Ben centric. It's like these are the things that I want to find. So when I start reaching out to people, some of them, like some of the funner stories, uh, will be like on the podcast, right? When they're family friendly and they're entertaining enough and kind of fit the rest of the Whimsy brand. Like we'll bring those people on, right? We got Elizabeth coming in soon. Courtney will come back because Liam and I want to talk to Courtney before she moves off if she does move. So like some of those episodes will still come in. But then like there's this idea of like the the heavier stuff that like at this point it's only Gooster, Jesus. You'll see what I mean in a second. But like Gooster and I, like I told her, I said, just me and her record. Interview with the vampire, right? So uh, Christian Slater sat down with his little recorder and just had that interview, right? And then what he does is he's going to take all the notes from that interview and he can reference back some stuff and then write said article. So the idea is I'm going to record with some people for reference and not for like the podcast, if this makes any sense to anybody. So there's a handful. Um, right now, there's just one person I can think of. But I have, I even went as far as like, that's part why I have the micro recorder with the tapes. I told her, I'm like, hey, what if we just did the interview? Right. So I have them and then I'll just give you the tape back and then you can just will it to me or to Liam you know, 100 years from now. So it was one of those things. Is like I think people are gonna get. I think it gets better as we move on this tour. Is like people will start to like maybe feel more comfortable once I can kind of better outline this tour. So um, we're gonna meet with some people. Oh, there's two people, three people. We'll figure it out as we go on. But as I go on this tour, one of the things I want to do, Liam said he would go with me, but I think what I want to do is since I've lived in the same town my whole life, I want to take a drive and like car cast it, and I want to go visit every house that I've ever lived in. Now I'm gonna ask, and you guys can tell me that I'm crazy and don't do it, and it's stupid. Okay, so here's what will for sure happen is we're gonna get the recorders and we're gonna visit the old house, the one near the train tracks. I don't know which house that is. I have to find an address. Um, and then we went to Grandma's house before uh, she lost it. You can hear that story um, on regular Chasing the Whimsy. Then the Rigid Buffalo, which is super funny, um, which was a trailer park. Then we moved into Charlotte's for a little bit. Then we moved to the Groves, then to Michigan, and then I was at Bay Red for a bunch of while, and now the current house I'm in now. So the idea is we're gonna car cast driving. We're gonna look at the house, and then I'll tell Lima whatever I remember of that house. Um, so those first couple of houses, I'm not gonna remember much of anything, but as we hit all the different houses, I can just tell all the stories, right? So I don't know how much of that actually gets put out into a podcast, but then it's a conversation that Liam and I have, and then it helps me document what I remember of those places for now. Because as I get older, it seems like I just keep forgetting everything. So Liam will have a record of all the places that I've lived and some stories from each one of those. So, okay. Oh, yeah. The second part of that. Okay. Here's where everybody thinks I'm crazy. I really want to. How weird is it to knock on the doors of these houses and let them know I lived there 40, 30, 20 years ago? And just be like, hello, my name is Ben. I do a random podcast. Can I please see inside your house? Um, I think like it sounds like the dumbest thing in the world. And there's like way better than like 100% they're not going to let me into their house. And I totally get that. And I'm not expecting like I'm not going to push or anything, but just worst case, just meet whoever's living there. A lot of people are like, don't go knocking on people's houses. The only half reason right now that I want to do this is the Michigan house. I still don't remember where Nikki's room was. And all I want to do now is just walk in. Okay, the two things about that house. I don't remember Nikki's room. Like, I think it was Christmas. We drew out the house layout. Nikki's like, I lived right here in this room. And I'm like, there was no room there. And there could, and there probably was. It does make sense that there was. It has. Okay. All right. All right. So I can wrap my head around that. It makes sense that there's a room there, right? Because you have the size of the living room in the hallway. So mom's room was only X big. which would leave this much space, which would be perfect for a room on that wall. Okay, I get that. I have no idea what it looks like. And then two, was there a side of the house on the non-gate side? And what was over there? I was in the house for like 4 years, and I remember the attic. I remember the garage. I remember the pool jumping off into the pool. I remember Richard. What was Richard? What was Richard's brother's name? The two tall kids, Thurber's guys, Richard and Andrew. They lived with us for a minute, so I remember. I stole a blinky light from one of those road barricade things. Like, there's so much stuff I remember in that house. Why can't I remember Randy's room? Why can I not remember Nikki's room? That's all I want to know at this point. So there's a chance that yeah, I might get a little creepy and start knocking on doors. I have to blow my nose. Uh, I don't know. It's just a thought that I have, right? So the reality, if I actually do it, probably not. But it would be fun for Liam to see, you know, the half dozen homes that I lived in, because he's still asking, like, what do you ask me about this week? I didn't go too deep into it, but it was interesting. But he was like, uh, he asked me some girlfriend questions. I'm like, I won't go too much because that's his stuff. But so one of the chapters in this book of Ben, right, is gonna be all my homes. I'm gonna drive by. We're gonna record. We're gonna have some good times. Because I would be curious to see what they all look. Because like some of them, I don't remember what they look like. I don't. So I think that would be fun for me. All right. So now we're gonna get into dates and time frames and periods, right? So on the podcast that we just recorded, right, the one that came out today, Liam was like, I should get tattoos and get some kind of symbol for each, basically each version of Ben, right? So he's like, different part of your life, you should put like a thing on there, right? This is all like first draft stuff. I have no idea. Okay. But there's a chunk of stuff I want to get from like 99 to 202 or 2002. Okay. So that would be some high school. When I was working at the fast food place, it wasn't really a Hardee's. Peter Piper, the bowling alley. So it was all those days. All right. And then I realized like the only people I have is Nikki and Brandy to talk to. Like it's so weird. Um, Obviously I can get with mom for some of these, right? But if I want to try to remember back to this particular time of my life, like, and the dates could be slightly off. They could be one or there's a margin of error of 1 year forward and backwards. But like, what does high school look like? I bleached my hair. I was working in fast food. I worked in Peter Piper. Like, I have all these I have some fun stories in there that those ones I'll tell on the podcast. Um, but I would be curious. And then this kind of goes into why did I start growing my hair out? Because it would have been right at the end of been like 2003 ish is when I started growing it out. Yes, I still don't know why I grew it out. So hopefully I can talk to some couple people, maybe a couple more people come out of the woodworks. Like I don't know who else I would pull from this time frame. Like it just reinforces like why I'm on this tour to find these stories because the number of people that remember these things, very small, very very small. And or a handful of people like I'll never find again. Like I'm not allowed to find people. And then out of nowhere, be like, hey, you want to talk to me about fucking my junior year of high school? So there's this there's this time period here. This is a good one. This was fun. This one will have some podcast elements to it. There's a handful of stories that Liam wants to hear um, from Hardy's. I don't even know if I have any good high school stories, to be honest with you. The bowling alley, I did technically meet Liam's mom at the bowling alley. Met Brandy at the bowling alley. The bowling alley, the bowling alley. Okay, so anybody who's like, oh, Ben podcasts too much, right? Uh, you know, it's taking over his life. I have issues because back in '99 to like '08, oh my god, it's a huge chunk of years. Yeah, from like 1999 to like so to '08, '09 for like 10 years. Bowling was my entire life. Like that's all I wanted to do. Uh, like it was crazy how much I was bowling. Like if you think I podcast too much, I bowl twice what I do for podcasting, if not three times. So like uh that just goes into the addictive personality that I have. So I find something that I like and I stick with it. Well, stick with it because I'm like addicted to it. But yeah, I didn't realize until saying it out loud. Yeah, that bowling alley was like a huge chunk of my life. That was weird because I only started working there in like '03, '01. I don't know. So I got to work on the dates, but there's some decent stuff happening in this time. I'm happy with this time frame. Very good stuff. Fun, very podcast friendly stuff. Um, Obviously, Brandy's an ex. You know, we'll get into some of those conversations, but those ones you will not be privy to. Those ones will be the recorded, handed down to Liam, whenever, right? So, or taped and then willed to him. So, um, again, a lot of the idea behind the nostalgia tour is mostly for me. If I can tell a fun story, then so will be it because that's what I do. We're a podcaster now. We're on YouTube. Um, so yes, some of the stories are going to go out, but then there's also a handful of personal stories that none of your guys' business. But I would like to remember those things just because. If I get them recorded, it would just be for like historical purposes. I don't know why. I don't. I think that's the podcast, the podcaster in me, and then watching all the lost media, um, all these docu series is like there's so much. Like I'm fascinated. Like the idea that like 40 years from now they do a documentary on Ben. Like I would love for them to have like old videos of me. I don't know. I don't know. So we have that time frame. And then from there, we go to like, all right, '04 to 11. All right. Job to put our career. Is work on shipping and receiving. They're the name of career. And then I spelled the name the word right. Because we've never mentioned my day job. And like, but yeah, my new job is a courier. Okay, but in '04 to like 11, right? I started over there. I've been there for 20 years. So there's a bunch of stuff that's happened over the years. So we got to get some of those stories. Um, I just bought the house. So then we got all those early days of when I bought the house. Okay. So at this point, mom, like I'm not talking to mom as much, barely talking to Nikki. Like I'm not talking to anybody. I got my own little crew, which is the original CTW. Malio, Davis, uh, were the main two, and then there was a couple of stragglers that we kind of pick up and back and forth. But then you got like that whole '04 to like '06. The neighbors hated me, right? So before, like, absolutely hated me. Cops called because I had too many people here. Boyfriend Joe outside naked with a cowboy hat. Like all of those stories of like the first year or two in the house, right? So we got all those stories. I have no idea who to talk to. Okay, boyfriend Joe, maybe. I gotta get. He's living up in Washington right now. Malio, he's living in Florida. I did reach out to Malio last year. Floated the idea if you'd be interested in talking with me. Um, so there's a bunch of fun stories in this area, right? So part of the idea, again, of recording everything is so that way I can get a more accurate version of what happened. Because if you ask me, I was a genius and I was like, I was the best. And I need someone to be like, no, Ben, you lost all the time. Like you played poker, but you lost every game. I didn't. Um, but yeah, so we got all those stories. Mischief Mondays. What did CTW? Oh, I don't have it anywhere close. Like we had bowling balls and we're throwing bowling balls and like doing all kinds of weird stuff on Monday because I had Tuesday, Wednesday off. So for whatever reason, as a courier, you get off work Monday and you have Tuesday, Wednesday off. Like you just get into trouble on Mondays. So I don't know who else to talk to. So this one's gonna be a weird time frame to kind of. So I'll document my experiences that I remember, and then maybe I can attempt to start reaching out to others to be like, how much of this is accurate slash what can you fill in? Because there's a bunch of gaps in here too. I was working 3 jobs at this point when I first bought the house. I worked night laundry, night audit, and then the courier. Like it was crazy, and I didn't drive. I also had all the piercings at this time. How did I get all those piercings? Those stories. The fun fact. Okay, the lady, one of my piercers. Okay, so I was like 22. Okay, so one of my piercers was the lady. Okay, when we lived in the on the Groves, was a block and a half away. Brian's niece, cousin. So remember, okay, we had Brian, who was a friend. Okay, his cousin lived up and over, and he would go visit her, live with her for a minute, and then he would come over and hang out here, right? So how crazy is that? That I find this random lady, and she was a tiny little lady. So, yeah, bunch of fun stories there. Oh, see, and it's what I'm saying. Totally forgot until I start talking about things. How small the world is. Um, Lady down the street, I just happened to meet friend. Then we were like best friends for a while. I went on an RV trip with him, Brian. His brothers were a pain in the ass. And then like 100 years later, I meet cousin again who does all my piercings. So if anybody's listening to this has any ideas, suggestions of who else I can reach out to at this point, but right now Malio's the only person who's going to help me remember, and boyfriend Joe to help me fill in some of the blanks of this particular time frame. Slide go to 2011. Slide 2 years. That was still. This one was more specifically working as a courier, I think, is where most of this slide is, and I really should have separated that. Okay, um, I worked with my sister Aiden. That's so funny. Like that joke's only for one person, and she'll never hear this. Maybe two people will understand it. Um, we had to have pseudonames, so Nikki, her name was Aiden. I got my license right around this time. Yes. Um, we got stories about me buying an ungodly amount. Like, so here was the peak of my popularity, we'll say, right? So we're hanging out with everybody. Everybody's like friends, and I bought 40 Rocky cups one night from Denny's. You know how they have those kid cups? Sometimes they're rocket chips. I bought 40 of those things for everybody. I don't think it was 40. I think it was 15, and then a different trip was like 22. But still, like the idea that we go to the bar, end up at Denny's, and then I'm just like and buying rocket cups and I'm eating everybody's food. I still wasn't driving at this time. Um, Nikki came out a couple times with us. Nikki got real close with uh, Gooster, Sharon, because she worked with them. That's why. Okay, makes sense. So she was part of some drama. Like she wasn't part of the drama, but she saw a bunch of the drama. She was going to school, so she stayed out of most of it, but came out on the weekends every once in a while. Uh, this time frame too, we also had Ben's drunk night on New Year's ish when I had rolls in my pockets. I think we talked about that. So, um, good time frame. I pre all of the good times. All right, 2014 to like 18. This one is a mess. This one is like a bunch of question marks and mental breakdown. Oh, here's where I was the messiest I've ever been. I was a mess. I had a small breakdown in like 17, 18, and then so this is like the dark time. All right, so there's a handful of stories in this time frame, but I have nobody to talk to. Like this one, I had no. Um, there's a handful of people I haven't talked to in years, and then I've almost refused to talk to. So this is gonna be the hard like. Uh, this will be a weird. This one you guys will probably never hear about. Very little from this time frame. So uh, these are the ones that get willed out. These are the ones that I want to record to be like, here's what's going on. Boom. Keep them in a box for like 40 years. Um, yeah. Weird time, guys. Weird time. I was all over the place. I don't know. But we get out of there. But at the same time, okay, boom. Right around that same year, those same years, right? So personal life, I was a mess, nervous breakdowns and everything else. But at the same time, shipping and receiving has a bunch of stuff, right? So these are probably the best and most favorite of my stories, I think. Kelly was here for most of these, but we have like the Baldwin fiasco. There was a guy who showed up, um, who was blind, recently blind, um, struggle with some stuff. I help him out, get him in an Uber. Boom. Goldsmith. What happened to Goldsmith? I'll tell you what happened to Goldsmith. Um, Hookers and Kruger. What happened with that? I'll have to tell you that. Some of these ones will probably have to wait slightly a couple years before they go out because I'm still technically working at shipping and receiving. But I want to get those stories recorded because these are absolutely amazing. These are all gems. Like these are it. Um, These are like the go-to ones when I talk to people at shipping and receiving. These are like the handful of stories that I refer back to because these were help make up amazing years over there. Kelly was there for most of these. I don't know if she was there for. She was not there for the full service lease, but she was there for everything else. Uh, Bowl and Fiasco, I think, is probably one of her favorites. So the idea. So again, gotta get with Kelly, sit down, talk about some of these old stories. Some of them uh, put on the podcast. Some of them hold for a little while. But these are all just really fun hustles that I used to run back in the day. I think we're done. Okay. So that's kind of what the nostalgia tour is starting to look like. Is I'm trying to pinpoint certain periods of Ben, and then what do I remember about them, and then eventually I'll start reaching out to some family to see if they can fill in any gaps. Talk to anybody who wants to talk to me about it, and then a lot of it is right now. A lot of it's just for me for just documentation purposes. It's like if I want to keep a history of me, because that's my the whole thing is with the whole podcast is where did everybody come from? And I was lucky enough to talk to my grandmother for like 6 or 7 hours and get some of her story, but she still has so much more that she can give. So when Liam goes through his midlife crisis and he turns 40, and I'm what, how old would I be when he's 40? Oh my god, I'll be old. Okay, so Liam 10, 50, and then I would be I don't know how old I would be. I can't do the math right now. But when Liam had his midlife crisis, it was where where did my dad live? What were like I'm all senile and dementia. And he's like, why does my dad keep talking about the bowling alley? Like he'll have these records of them. Um, if I had to guess, like 50-50, 50 of the stuff will go out into like a fun story that I could tweak it, make it fun. And then half of it, nobody will ever hear. But I'll still have reference to it. But I think it would be a really interesting thing to give boxes of tapes to Sophie and Lane one day and be like, here's all the stuff you guys don't know yet. So I don't know. I'm not as all over the place as I was like 2 weeks ago. In a much better headspace. I think a lot of it was just putting it on paper of what stories it is that I want to find. But that's the rabbit hole for the week is the early stages of the outline of some of the areas that I want to start tackling. Right, I want to. What was I doing in high school? What was I doing at the bowling alley? What did I do when I first bought the house? Um, the 14 to 18, like that whole like all the signs indicated that like things weren't going to get better, and then it just like I just like every bad decision you can make, I found. So, um, yeah, I think it would be interesting. Like I think I hear people. Um, so um, I'll probably not talk about the nostalgia tour as much moving forward, just as I because I'm going to start scheduling um, some interviews and stuff, and then I'll start putting some episodes together with some of the fun stories. But that's all I got for my rabbit hole this week.
Hey there, Whimsy fans! We wanted to take a moment away from the fun to express how much your support and contributions mean to us. If you're liking what you're hearing from us so far, we'd like to invite you to show us some love on our new Patreon. Starting at just $1 a week, you can help us keep the whimsy coming. That's not just our podcast, but live streams and new projects on the horizon as well. All members get special shout out during our live streams. If you're comfortable giving a little more, please take a look at our gift tier. These gifts are hand-picked by the Whimsy crew to bring more curiosity, fun, and whimsy to you as thanks for your support. Every little bit counts, and whether you support us by listening and subscribing to our podcasts, holding court on our lives, or subscribing to our Patreon, thank you for helping us keep the magic alive and the mics on. You can find our Patreon at patreon.com/chasingthewhimsy or follow the link on our YouTube channel at Chasing the Whimsy. Thank you again for all the support. Whimsy!
Listen to the episode that dropped today. On the road to 100, on any road trip, you got to take a pit stop. We found a roadside attraction with Liam's Mind Pockets on the road to 100. So the next 3 weeks we'll finish off the road, and then we'll end up at 100. Saturday, it was suggested that Liam can handle a freestyle ad read. He did pretty good for the Patreon ad read. I laughed so hard editing that episode. Absolutely loved. I can't, okay, with some bullet points. Like, to be fair, I don't. He probably skips through all of his ads. I don't think he remembers what a commercial looks like. I don't think he pays attention to the Tell 'em Steve Dave commercials. So for the Patreon, he did pretty good. He let people know that there's a $10 tier where you get some gifts on all of the even months. There's a $4 tier that gets your name on the live stream. And that the portion of everybody every month goes towards the Family Assist program for the holidays. He did pretty good with that ad read. He took some notes. He was good. The second ad read that he did, complete garbage. But anyway. But yes, Andy, Nikki, your family, Megan, your family, Joyce, and Ender Frog, EC1, Gooster, Nina M, Violet, Anna, my dad, and Courtney. Thank yous for the paid tier on the Patreon. You guys are getting some of your gifts. I hope you enjoy them. Those of you who have not signed up for the Patreon, sign up for the free. At least. Let's get that number up a bunch. You can see pictures of all the stuff that we're doing. We got the new comic strip. I'll start putting pictures of the blanket ideas that we have up there. So sign up for the free. Support where you can. Thank you, thank you. The second slide here, I did change it. I think I like the left to right better than Saturday's top to bottom. We have 2 goals this year. We need to hit both of them ish to make the holiday goal. So the first goal is I would love for 55 people to be members, paid members of the Patreon. Worst case, $4, right? It's $1 per week. I know that times are rough. I agree, 100% support and understand it. But if you can find that $1 per week, throw it over here to us. We're looking for 55 paid members. I'm going to push really hard in February. Hold on. Can I do a Valentine's Day tier? Hold on. Okay. In theory, could you gift a subscription? All right, there's 12 of you. Could you send your loved one a subscription to the Patreon? Maybe. I think you can. Wow. Better. What better way to celebrate Valentine's Day than to subscribe? Flowers, they die. They die. Candy? Diabetes. Gain weight. Choke, you could die. What will you not choke and die on? Chasing the whimsy. The only thing you have to worry about is if you're drinking something, I say something, and then you choke on your And then that's the only time you could possibly die listening to Chasing the Whimsy because it was so funny. Perfect gift for Valentine's Day. I got to talk to Liam about that. We're going to do another ad read next week and see if he can convince us that Patreon subscription, like you gift a subscription to somebody for the year. So for like $40, you can give somebody access to Patreon. I really love the idea. And whatever you got to do, um, I think I think right now I got to get ruthless, right? I think we got to have like save a tree by Patreon or something. Like I don't know. We're gonna have to hit all the holidays hard. We got to get this number up. If we hit the 55 members, what that will guarantee is the second one. We're gonna raise $500 for the kids for the holiday program. 55 people for 12 months will give me the $500, right? And then that would go from Chasing the Whimsy Patreon and to the kids. So like I'll make sure that it's separated as I'll even put all your names on the card. We'll do a card. I'll print out the last page with all the names on it, and it's donations from these 55 people because it's you guys putting in and supporting it. So I 100% make sure that you guys all get your recognition for it. Right now we're at $12, right? Only because we're only 1 month in, so it stands to reason $12. But we're still early. We still got 10 months. 10 months to figure out how to get that total up to $500. Um, by the first, I'll have um, some more, a couple of different ways that you guys can donate. So um, if you don't want to do the Patreon, but you want to donate straight to the kids, there will be a spot for that. So you're like, well, for $40, and they're only going to get 12 of it, right? You're like, I prefer that they get all 40 of it. 100% agree. I'll find a way for you to do that. So I'm playing with it. I got to figure out how all that stuff works. But um, the idea behind the Patreon and the donation stuff is I'm not asking you to do anything that I want to do myself. And that's why we've Chasing the Whimsy is already committed $500 to the kids fund. So we're looking for an extra 500 from you guys. So as we build the community, I put my mouth where my foot is. Um, we're just asking you to help out just a little bit. Boom, here you guys go. Um, so hopefully we see these numbers move a little bit. I would hate for this slide to never change for the next 2 months. But like I said, I'm going to go hard aggressive with this thing. I got business cards now with Patreon stuff on it. No idea how to do any of this stuff, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to get this number up to. I'd love to hit 25 by July, which would be the year 2 anniversary. That's still July is still 6 months away. Um, but yeah, thank you for all the Patreon people and all the people who are considering it. Sign up for the free. And we're done. So it still took the whole hour. So who kudos to man. Oh, here's something really funny for you guys. Uh, we are currently monetized right now on YouTube, and we have made 14 cents since the 18th. Well, to be fair, it only tracks. It's like a day or two behind. So in one day, we made 14 cents. Don't know how or what we did to get the 14 cents, but we are currently now making 14 cents a day. It's what it is. It's better than nothing. So thanks for listening and watching. Uh, hey, feel free to rewatch now that we're getting paid for it. Rewatch, get the lo-fi videos. You can always play those um, and walk away. Some good music for some background stuff. Doing some chores, some homework. I played last night uh, a lo-fi video while I was doing the podcast. I was editing. I fell asleep in my chair, but whatever. Well, that's all we got for you guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of your holiday. If you had the day off, great. If not, sorry, but you hope you still have a good day. Have a good week. I have no idea what my schedule looks like this weekend, so there'll still be a Mind Pockets on Saturday. But until then, you guys have a good night. Catch Pinky Whimsy Z on Friday. All right, that's all we got for you guys. You guys have a good night. Whimsy.